Thanks, Chris. All right, we'll carry on with our meeting. So one of the suggestions the executive came up with, or one of the ideas we came up with, to sort of help encourage more discussion with our theme photos is we're going to try having for the first photo, we'll have people comment in the first row, and then we'll open it up. And then second photo, the second row, and we'll just kind of alternate back and forth. Do please remember that if you're going to talk, we're going to have somebody try and get a mic, thank you, to you, to try and run around in the dark. Yeah, I can run around with it. Thank you. Okay, so that's how we're going. So yes, I know I'm putting people on the spot, but it's a good spot to be on. Sorry, say that again? Are we letting the photographer talk to you though, or no? Yes, sorry, we're not changing that. The photographer still gets to talk first. Yes. Thank you for that reminder. I probably would have just done it and not even thought about it for a second. Okay, we're not changing it up that much. Okay, so we ready, Doug? Okay, let's go. Thank you for the lights. Oh, sorry, and what was the theme? I'd make a joke about old age, but I don't think that would fly with this audience. I don't think I can claim old age with this audience. The theme this month was music, and so we're starting with the first one. Who's our photographer tonight? Over here. Great. Thank you.
So as you can see, this is a picture of a record player taken with a macro lens, and I use a really slow shutter speed just to get some of the motion of the record going, and then in post-processing I added in a little bit of a light leak.
Oh. Okay. So since there's more people on the front over here, I'm going to pick from them. Well, I'm not going to pick. I'm going to ask for a volunteer from you guys. Byron can start. Great, thank you.
Yeah, I like the idea of the slower shutter speed to show the motion of the LP, and I also like the reflection of the turntable arm reflecting off of the record. I'm not really too crazy about the orange band on the left-hand side, though.
Yeah, I agree on the left-hand side thing. I worked so hard putting ahead film to get rid of that stuff. But, you know, you always went, oh, it's a great picture. Oh, shit, there's the thing there. So, I like the idea, though.
Great. Anyone else like to comment?
That's not in the first row, you mean?
That's not in the first row. We'll move on now. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Sure.
I'm pretty sure I have no idea how you could have a record like that that's in such pristine condition that it would actually reflect the light. Because all of mine got so many scratches in them and everything, they're gone. But in any event, I kind of do like the flare because it's a beautiful contrast to the blue in the center of the record. So kind of for me is something that takes the starkness away from what it would be without it.
I'm just going to make a comment and then I'll pass it on. I like the light leak because it adds to the vintage feel of because a record player is something traditionally old now, and so it would be taken with the film, and you might have that light leak, so it kind of added that to the story, I think.
pass it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same thing. I really like the light leak. It looks really, I don't know, it's very like nostalgic. And so, yeah.
It should have said RCA on it. That's good.
I thought Jan's gonna mention vignetting, but I didn't hear that. But I like the lighting on it as well. It's with the record and the head there. It's kind of like black and white on the right side, with lots of color on the left side. It's good contrast, color contrast. That's what I was trying to say, due to the light. So I like that.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, over here.
I was just going to say about the same as Lorelei did. It's just very retro, and it reminded me, when I was going through all the slides that my dad took years ago, and he had many that looked like that, and so it's just, and yeah, because it's a record player is an old thing, and it just fits it perfect. So I like that color contrast.
Oh, I'm over here now. Yes. Oh, you're gonna make me go. Tell you, should have wore my Fitbit tonight. All right.
We're going to wear you out.
Yeah.
As also, it kind of follows what David Duchemin was saying, I gather, because it's not of something, it's about something.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. I have to say, I appreciate the variety of opinions on this. Okay. Who's... Sure, yeah. That'll help, thanks. Okay, whose was this? Byron's, okay. Yeah, just at the front. All right. I've enlisted a runner.
This was from a project I did a few years ago. So what it is, it's just a piece of glass with the subject matter being the sheet music placed underneath about 18 inches, and I shot down on it. And what you may think are water drops are actually corn syrup. Using corn syrup, you can use like a toothpick or a bamboo skewer to place the drops wherever you want and make them any size you want. And you can adjust your f-stop to make the background more or less in focus, but I believe that the shot was taken at f11.
How do those drops stay so round?
Yeah, it's corn syrup, so I just take a little bamboo skewer and dip it in the corn syrup, and then I just place the drops onto the glass. So, so the corn syrup retains that round shape better than if you used water.
So it doesn't have to be cold.
Doesn't have to be cold.
No, no. The only problem with this is after about 5 or 10 minutes, when the corn syrup starts to dry up, it starts to wrinkle. You get a little film on the top.
Lick it off.
Okay. Sorry, we missed the comment from the second row there. Yeah.
I think one of the things I like about the image of it, so I've done a lot of stuff with percussion and stuff, and one of the things we talk about is music that percolates, right? So things, the rhythm kind of like pops out at different places and different points in times and sizes and stuff. So to me, this embodies that feeling.
It's a duck. Anybody else? Any special lighting?
I just had a couple of side lights placed down on the floor where the subject matter is, one on each side.
So Byron, where was the sheet music in relationship to the drums? Above, below?
It's below the glass, about 18 inches. So then I'm shooting from above.
And lights from below too?
Yes.
And what was under the sheet music?
Oh, it's just laying on the floor. I just put a piece of glass on a stack of books.
Great. Any further comments or questions?
Ian, any vignetting? Oh, we're good. What? Okay. Okay.
White vignette, yeah. I'll just make one comment. I always find Byron's work inspiring. When the first meeting I went to, actually I first went to Flow Fusion, it was Byron's show on dissolving Skittles that just inspired me. And this also has now given me some ideas on what to do. So it's certainly one of the reasons I like coming out, get inspiration. Okay, let's move to the next.
Nice.
All right. All right, who's our photographer? Back here with Chris. Okay.
I have to adjust my own audio levels.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a lot of concert photos, but after watching Elizabeth Gadd's webinar, I thought I'd try a selfie. So I set up this in my garage, and my only concern was maybe the neighbors would call the fire department.
All right. So we're at the third row. Do we have any comments in the third row?
I like the cyano type look.
Yeah, how'd you get that color?
I used one stroke with the blue gel over it
Okay.
behind me.
Okay. I must say I really like the mood of this. This is great. Other questions or comments?
How did you generate the smoke?
How'd you generate the smoke?
Smoke machine.
Oh, okay.
Use a smoke machine.
Burnt the garage down.
That's great. All right, last call. Oh, Wayne.
Did you trigger the camera remotely or set it on an interval?
Interval.
It was an interval.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
And smoke hit all the junk in behind.
Smoke hit the junk, yeah. Great. All right, let's move to the next. All right, who's our photographer for this one?
Just took one of my guitars and tried to find an unusual angle. and then worked on the depth of field a little bit.
What kind of guitar?
It's a Fender Strat, 50s Vintera.
All right, we're on the back row for questions or comments to start. Don't make me pick someone.
Oh, sorry.
I like taking detail shots, and this is kind of one of those things. But personally, I would have preferred to see the focus on the second or third peg and mirror and not way on the left-hand side, because it would draw your eye into the photo more.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about the lens you used. Like, what was the aperture on this? Not sure. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, what's the background there? Is it just a piece of wood or paneling? Okay. Oh, it's a veneer in the background. Okay. Oh, yes. The guitar case on the far right in reflection. Yeah.
Oh, nice detail.
Okay. Any other comments or? Okay, let's move to the next.
I think last month Byron had a talk about music and using different perspectives, and then at the end he showed somebody's perspective. And then David Duchemin said to move your camera, so I went and sat on the drum kit. And I think it was Byron that he saw when he turned around and saw me sitting on the drum throne.
All right, we're back to kind of the front row for starting comments. Well, here. I got to move to the front. There. Now I'm on the front row. I like the immersion of this photo. That you really feel like, I mean, it's very much that drummer's perspective. I also really like just the energy of the photo. That's what really draws me in. And definitely I like the unique perspective. Okay. Other comments?
Yeah, I'd comment. Yeah. I like the framing of it with the microphone stands. The exposure is great. I mean, he's perfect. Still see detail in the background. Tough exposure to do because they're all in the shade and people out there are all in the blazing sun. So the exposure is very well done. And his placement of the guy is perfect. There's enough room to see his expressions. Yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah, if you were here for my talk last month, I talked a lot about capturing the perfect moment of expression, and I think this photo captures it well.
Anyone else? Comments? All right, let's move to the next. All right, who's our photographer this time? Right at the back. Gayle at the back.
That's a great album.
I just decided I wanted to try a macro type photo, and I don't have a macro lens, so I have extension tubes. So I threw them on the camera between that and the lens, and got this.
Okay. Second row. Comments? Yeah, I like the play of depth of field. Yeah, extension tubes, that's a very good idea. I might have taken it a little back a bit so you didn't quite clip off the circles on the edges. So it sort of where the record framed it a little more. Again, it's probably personal choice.
I didn't realize how I was looking at it in that
Yeah.
that I had actually squared off those edges, and it was like, oh well.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Sometimes it's not until you actually pull it up on your screen, you're like, oh, I wish I had, I'd taken an inch back or something. Yeah. But I like the front half being kind of out of focus really draws you into that title. And yeah. There's some nice color in there, and I think you get a really nice texture of the, I don't know what it's called, the paper on it. Okay. Other comments? All right, let's move to the next. Okay. And who's our photographer?
I was bemoaning to Byron that I didn't have any pictures of music whatsoever in my catalog. So he challenged me. He says, Gord, take a picture of music, but don't show the musician. So here was the attempt.
Okay. All right, I think we're on the third row. Comments to start?
Thanks, Max. It only just sneaks up on you that there is a musician there as you look at it. And I suspect I would have had to have looked at it for a little bit longer yet before I realized that there was a musician there. So that, to me, is very interesting. So just the shadow of the hands on the keyboard is amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the same experience, and I appreciate the surprise of discovery in this photo. To suddenly discover something I hadn't immediately noticed with the hands. I think that's very creative. I agree. Okay, let's hear from some other people. Back here.
So the black and white and the calligraphy give it a serious tone, but it's actually a playful picture. There's a joke here. And the joke is that if both his hands are on the keyboard, how is he taking the picture?
Very, very fast hands, maybe.
You got to shoot with your mouth.
Yeah. A ghost. definitely a story in there with the wear on the piano, yeah, with the keys. Other comments? Okay, let's move to the next then. It looks like, yeah, we're moving from one piano to the next. So this is mine, and I will admit I had a variety of different ideas, and this was not one of them to start with. This was actually suggested by, I think it was suggested by my wife or my daughter. And then I thought, oh, so my wife is actually quite an accomplished pianist. And so I went and tried to find a Lego figure that would represent her. And then I actually played with this scene quite a bit to get the angle that I liked. I think in the end, it was very much I was aiming for something where it was this sort of, you had the triangle of looking in sort of through it. So that's, yeah. So that's what I did. Whimsical, I guess. Yeah. Okay, I think we're on back road now. Comments?
I really like the the portrait part of it with the beautiful catch lights. Yes, yeah, you definitely managed and all that. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, and I was going to mention, one of the things I was actually trying to accomplish here was to try and figure out how to make it like a spotlight, like it actually felt like it was on a stage. And you had a single sort of spotlight on her. But yeah. Sorry?
It does feel like that.
It does kind of have that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say with the macro photography, it makes it look almost life-size kind of thing. And I also appreciate this because I've only been comfortable taking portraits with Lego figures also.
Okay, gives it more presence with the shadow on the floor. Yeah. Oh, and I will admit that I had to do a little bit of dust removal on the stage. I actually debated leaving the dust to make it feel, I don't know, I always think of stages as a bit dusty, but then, yeah. Okay. Other comments? Up here? Maximo?
Sorry.
Yeah, I just really want to say, like, I appreciate the amount of time and detail put into this. Like, the size of her compared to the piano is really good. Like you said, the shadow below is excellent. I think the lighting's well controlled. There's just a good angle looking down but through her, and you can, she's very well composed and very well framed. I just really like, the amount of care and setup you put into this. I think it's just excellent.
Thank you. Any final comments or questions?
I love the catch lights you got in her eyes.
The catch lights in her eyes, yeah. As much as I'd like to take credit for that. or the joy of her expression, too, right? Okay. All right, we'll move to the next. All right. Whose is this? It was a bit of a rhetorical question.
Anytime I can take pictures of the granddaughter, I'm pretty happy. And all the grandkids in the past had played the harmonica, and she's on her way. I'm a terrible indoor photographer, so I don't know what to even say about it. But I love the granddaughter and my wife.
I think we're looking at the front row for starting comments, opening comments.
I like the child and everything. It's really cool, but I think you should have got down on your knees and shot them face on.
Well, we just had tea together. That's why she's got her little finger up.
We just had tea. Okay. I like how it captures a moment.
And I think it kind of goes both ways. And having their face is one thing, but having her look down puts the focus right on the grandchild and the piece of music or the instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah, run.
Like for myself, I know that I struggle with portraits and getting close to people and getting these kind of candid shots, but I also feel like these are opportunities and times where you have a lot of time to work with your wife and work with your grandchild to, like the other individual said, get lower, get straight on, take your time, compose this, right? Like nobody's going anywhere and there's no pressure on you. So, take these opportunities. It's stressful sometimes and things aren't going to work out, but like we learned last night, get different angles, take a bunch of photos, and just understand the lighting that you have coming in here and just work it, because this could be one of those photos 15, 20, 25 years down the road that you're like, oh, remember this time? So slow it down and take your time and get what you can get.
For me, it moves beyond a grandmother-granddaughter connection to something that talks about concentration and focus. And her focus and concentration on that harmonica and whatever may be in her view, to me is what the story's all about.
Just Laura Lee over there.
Actually really like the angle. I think the only thing I would do is in post-processing, crop it in really close, right off to the grandchild's elbow there, and yeah, just really narrow in on there. But I like the angle. And I think if you go down, you're going to lose something in the hands. Yeah, I would love it if the grandchild, if you made a noise and she looked up at you or what, just for a second, but that's hard to get. And like you said, you just keep taking them and get. But I love the hands and the like Ian said, the concentration and the what's going on.
Just over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't look at this picture as a photographer. I look at it as a family member, and this is the kind of picture that will be very valuable for a family in years to come.
Mm-hmm. Any final comments? All right, we'll move to the next. All right, who's our photographer this time? Oh, might be Judy's? Okay. Okay, yeah, I know Judy wasn't able to come tonight. All right, so we'll just open it up to comments. I think we're on second row. I've lost track. I like the Judy made black and white. I think it gives a really nice mood to it. And it looks like, and maybe I'm mistaken, is there a little bit of vignetting at the top? It feels like it gives a more sort of old-timey feel to it for me. What are our thoughts? Laura Lee.
Yeah, I really like you said, the vignetting, but it's also the blur that she added gives that old film look or whatever. And which, if you know Shayla and her music, then that suits her and her music. I like the fact that she's looking down. Actually, yeah, I love the image, and I know it's really hard to get pictures when you're down below of getting that mic in the right place without it being distracting. And she did really well at getting that. And the black and white totally suits Shayla too.
I'm not familiar with the artist. Is this someone, it sounds like, is well known around here?
Yeah, she's from here. She's well known. She's very, Donna, how would you describe her music? Old country she was, yeah.
Okay, so.
Which you can tell by her dress, like that old,
Yeah.
what do you call it, the old country. Can't think what his name is.
Johnny Cash? Or,
yeah, Johnny Cash and all, But she has her own music, and she's very much in, but she's been, I did her wedding and everything, so that's why I know her.
I see.
But yeah, she's very well known, and she's gone in a lot of contests. She's kind of moving up again right now into being more well known than just around here.
Okay. More comments. Back here.
I agree with the black and white treatment for this. I like the texture in the background. I don't know if it was added after or the texture was there, but it really adds to the mood. And as well as the selective blur, it kind of almost looks like a tilt shift lens. When you have a little bit of blur on the very bottom of the picture, then it just kind of keeps moving to the right and up, where to the guitar. So it's kind of makes your eyes, kind of go around the picture and see what actually was the sharp part of it. But as a whole, it all works together. Like the blurry and the sharp parts together, they just really work together nicely. At least for me.
I can see it as the centerfold for a double album.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely image. So many great elements to it with the soft focus on the edges is great. One thing that I'd suggest is to perhaps crop in a bit tighter and get rid of the, I imagine it's, is it an amplifier or speaker box at the bottom? I'd crop it right just above that, and I think would keep you in the image a little better.
I like it because I think it gives it a sense of place. Yeah.
I just want to say that I know Judy has a Lens Baby, which does that type of blur, and I bet you this was taken with her Lens Baby lens, an 85 Lens Baby.
Okay. Final comments. Oh, last comment.
I really like this one. This is the mood and everything, but I also, hard to tell what decade this picture was taken in. The way the clothes and just everything else too, just, it could be the 70s or, I don't know. There's so much about this one I like. And because also like you're standing here watching her, like at the concert, she's performing for you. So I do like the framing of this.
Has a timeless quality to it. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, more? Is that our, oh, there we go.
Oh, nice.
Oh. Who do we have to thank for this one? Ian. Oh, sorry. Lurley.
You want to take the credit, Ian?
Sorry. I thought George said Ian.
I guessed it was Ian, but.
Oh. All right.
George, you always know my pictures. This was at a wedding, so by then they had the big band at the wedding. This was right before COVID, like 2 weeks before COVID broke out. And yeah, by the time you get to the dance and everything else and you get all the have-to pictures, then you start fooling around with what to see what else you can get. And so this was shooting through all of them lined up and picking one of them to focus on, and that's what turned out to black and white, because when you're indoors all the colors are usually kind of, you know, weird with the brown and the orange and whatnot that comes on, and I thought the black and white did a better mood of it.
All right. Yeah, Ian has a comment, even if it's not his photo.
I would have definitely been very happy to have made this. And to me, it really does speak of music and the movement and the goings on when you're playing. It really fits. It is very musical.
Okay. Comment. Yeah, back here.
Actually, not a comment, a question. I'm wondering what lens and if you remember what aperture you took this photo with.
I'm going to guess my 70-200 at 2.8, but I didn't go back and look, so I don't know for sure. But I don't usually fool around too much with too many different lenses. Usually I'm kind of tired by this time of night. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what it would be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
How far away were you?
I don't remember exactly how far down the line that person was. I wouldn't, you know, they're playing, I'm not like Donna that I can go sit up in the drums. So I wouldn't have been where I was conspicuous. So I would have been a little ways away from the person at the edge, and then shooting into them or whatever. But I don't know how many people are in front of that person. Yeah, sorry, I don't know.
Well, it certainly pulls you in. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments? Okay. Move next. Oh.
Nice.
All right, right here. Yeah.
I'm sad that it wasn't an original idea. Yeah, nothing special, just took about 70 pictures until I found one that I liked. And then afterwards just changed it to monochrome and then realized how dusty it was.
All right, comments?
Is that
It's a silver vinyl. Okay. Other comments? Yeah. Again, very vintage feel to this with the monochrome. I think that was quite well done. I might have cropped it in a little more so you didn't have that white tag or something just on the right side.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, very nice. Okay, we'll move on.
I honestly went into this with a completely different idea of what I wanted, and it failed miserably. So after chatting with my dad, kind of came up with a different idea and just wanted to get a really grainy feel to the picture to make it look a bit older. And I don't know what guitar it is. You'd have to talk to my dad.
Comments? Sorry. I like how the strings lead you in, and then they actually split at the end. I find that intriguing. I think it's very well centered, very well proportioned. Very nice. Okay. Other comments? Ralph up here.
I like the way the strings and the guitar drive you down to the end there. The thing I find distracting is the hoopy thing that's holding it up. So if you I would have moved my camera beyond that and just got the camera rather than the holder. I think it'd be a stronger picture, at least from a music point of view.
Okay, other comments?
Was it Briny?
Actually, I don't mind the holder at all. I think personally it adds to the picture because I'm looking at it almost like a silhouette and the shapes of it and what you can see with that, like little arms or whatever you want to see in there. So I appreciate that in there. But what I wanted to say is I really like the light. It's nice and soft and the side lighting, it adds to the texture, to the mood, and again, it works very well in this case.
Great.
Just to build on what Bronny said, I really like the texture as well in this picture, and I think it would be even stronger if it was taken with a 4x5 or even an 8x10 and film. I think that would really draw out the texture.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the thing I like about the lighting too is that so the image is fairly symmetrical, but the lighting isn't. So yeah, it gives just again builds on the last two comments. But
Okay. Last call for a comment on this. All right. Okay. Oh.
This photo was taken this past December at a Christmas concert, and I was running around taking pictures, both for myself and also to give to the participants. I must say that it was something new for me doing something like this, and I got a lot of inspiration for some of my shots by over the years looking at all of Donna's shots of bands and musicians.
Any questions for Doug or comments? I very much like the reflection. Sort of the two different points of view within this. Yeah.
He just said my comment.
Oh, sorry. I stole your thunder. Oh,
Pretty good.
I apologize.
Great minds think alike.
You're right. Okay. Anyone else?
Like you said, the reflection in that horn is amazing, the depth and the point on the red cap in the reflection is amazing. And the notes, just beautiful picture.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay. All right. It's Wayne over there.
That's after 5 Riot.
Yes, this was at a resort. We were on holidays in Mexico, and it was part of the house entertainment, and just shooting away, trying out some different things, and really enjoyed the rhythm and the movement that he was providing in the entertainment there. We've got some basic lighting there provided by the resort, but it worked out quite nicely, side lighting from each side there.
Okay. Comments? Oh, over here.
I absolutely love this, Wayne. It's really cool. The only thing is my eye wants to see the rest of the trumpet. I want to see more. It's just so cool. But maybe that's a good thing that leaves me wanting to see more. I don't know. But it's just such a cool effect that you did. I want to know how you did that. It's more than just...
I'll come over. That was about a half a second shutter, and actually I lucked out on this. I wasn't intentionally doing, this was not intentional camera movement, but just his motion in the frame there was about a half a second, and I shot it, that was on a old 3.2 megabyte camera, and I processed it. Didn't do much to it, but I did run it through topaz sharpener, and I just picked up the texture in his skin nicely.
Beautiful. Really nice.
Yeah.
I actually like that the ear and part of the face is sort of still and in focus, and the rest isn't. That worked out really good.
Magazine worthy. Okay. Other comments? Last call for comments on this. Seeing none, I think that might be it. Is that right? And we're back to the start. Well, I have to say, so first of all, thank you. I think this was one of our biggest submissions in the last number of months. I appreciate everyone's effort with us. Certainly, we saw quite a variety. I appreciate everyone's comments. You know, it's hard, I know it's hard sometimes to put your photos up. I think I said this last time, I'll say it again. It's not always easy to put your photo up on a screen for critique, nor is it always easy to make a comment. So I appreciate everyone's participation tonight. We're going to move on, and as soon as I unlock my phone again, I believe we have Maximo is going. Yep, Maximo is going to regale us with his favorite places.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep it short as well. I didn't make it super long presentation. So John asked me if I had a presentation I could put together of some places that I think are cool to photograph or worth visiting. Most of the places I photograph are places that I hike to, so some of them are not easy to access, but I did try to include some things off of places that maybe you can get, actually just one place, with their car. Disclosure is I did not edit all of these pictures yet, so some of them are raw and others I just put it in to show you what the place looks like. But yeah, next please, and I'll show you. So one is Bovine Lake, which is here in Castle, and it's a pretty well-known place for people that like hiking. It's a day hike, you can get there. I like to sleep there, and I like it because it gets really, really good light in the morning. So that's what the place looks like. You can just pitch your tent wherever you want. So I slept there, and this is actually the lake in the morning. It's after the golden hour. I kind of forgot to wake up, but it happens sometimes. But it's really cool because it gets really nice light, and there's a very good reflection of the mountain on the lake in the morning. So if you go to the next one, you can see you get kind of these reflections. Like and if you take your time, you can really play around in this place, and I really enjoy it because of that, because it has so many angles, and there's different kind of little peninsulas that come out into the lake that give you a lot of opportunities to take pictures. And yeah, and then I find always in the morning, the lakes are super calm. They're like a mirror, so they're really nice to play around with. And if you go to the next one, it has this peculiar thing that if you go on one side of the shore, the light comes in through the trees in the morning, and it makes these weird shapes on the beach, which I find is quite a lot of fun. I think you can see back there that there's like a cord where I hang my food from the bears. There's a red cord on the pine tree. But it's pretty cool to wake up in the morning and see all these shapes and play around with the pictures. And if you go to the next one, what we did, I was with a few friends. We went up that peak that's on the left the next day. And it looks more intimidating than what it actually is. It's just a normal hike up the back. But you can see the entire lake from the top. So it's really fun. So if you go to the next picture, that's basically what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And you can see the tent there on the beach on the right side. And from there, if you have a zoom, you can just play around with pictures. And it's a lot of fun. So if you move to the next, you get pictures kind of like that. That looks like something that's completely not from the place I was at. And there was actually, that day there was a bald eagle flying around there, but my zoom wasn't big enough, so I couldn't catch it well. And if you go to the next as well, from the top you get these kind of pictures. There was a little girl throwing rocks in the water. So it's nice to get to a point where you can actually shoot handheld for pictures that sometimes are pictures that are more of a drone type of picture. I don't know, I don't use drones, so I just like shooting handheld pictures. And it's nice when you get to a vantage point, then you can do that. And this girl stayed there for quite a while. It still annoys me that her shadow's touching the edge of the lake. I wish I could go back. I took like 50 pictures and she was not getting in the right position. I wanted to yell at her, but I was really far away and I didn't think that was appropriate either. So I didn't do it. But yeah, it worked out pretty good, I think. But it's nice because you get to see different angles and that lake really doesn't look like the lake I was shooting when I'm at the shore, right? It's completely different. Yeah, and if you go to the next one, that's what you see from the top on the other side of the mountain range. And it looks pretty badass, but it really isn't. It's just a hike, normal trail that goes up there. And a friend of mine was just standing there, and I took a picture of him with the entire mountain range at the back, which is pretty cool. And that's something that's here in Castle, and it's a very accessible place that people go to. It's actually pretty popular, and people go in there with horses all the time. So it's nothing crazy. It's on the east part. Bovine Lake, you have to go to the, you know where their shell is? Yeah, you go south of that, and there's a few trails that come out, and there's a little parking lot there, and you even have a sign that says Bovine Lake. Go straight in. It's 9K one way, but you can horseback ride in there, or yeah, quads are not allowed or anything like that. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful valley. There's waterfalls coming down and everything. It's right there. Yeah, Blue Lake. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, and it's beautiful. It's yeah, pretty simple to get to. Yeah, and if you go to the next one, then I like hiking a lot in Banff and Jasper, and a lot of the stuff that's off of the Icefield Parkway I find is just amazing. And one place that I hike to that it's not well known at all, I don't know if people know the big bend you make in the Icefield Parkway. There's this giant bend before you get to the big Athabasca Glacier, and there's just a little drop off of the road there that falls into an old bridge that's abandoned now, and you can leave your car there, and you can hike into Saskatchewan Glacier, which is a glacier that's much bigger than Athabasca Glacier that's coming off of the ice field. So I hiked there with some friends, and if you go to the next, what's cool about this hike is that actually, I don't know, 1 or 2 kilometers in, without elevation, you get to an actual canyon that you can shoot in the canyon. So you don't have to go all the way to the glacier, and nobody knows about this, so please don't tell many people. Because I don't like crowds when I go to these places. But the canyon is super cool. This one you see from far away, but if you go to the next, you can actually walk around the canyon, and there's a lot of kind of man-made sort of sketchy bridges that are made, but you can shoot into the canyon, and the water is incredible because it's coming right off that giant glacier, just 2 kilometers away, so it's a blue that you rarely see. And you can just shoot into the canyon. There's so many shapes and things, so if you go to the next one, you can see there's so much to play with here. You can spend hours. The issue I have sometimes is that I hike with friends and they don't want to wait. So I got to keep going, which is kind of a pain, but I don't want to hike alone either, so I got to do what I can. But once we leave the canyon, then you keep going and you're hiking in this giant valley where the glacier used to be and it receded. And there's waterfalls falling on both sides, and you're walking on rock for kilometers. So if you go to the next picture, you're kind of walking on a scenery that looks kind of like this. And as you keep going, if you go to the next, the glacier starts to show up, and there's a lake that wasn't there several years ago, but now it's there as the glacier is receding. And the color of that lake is probably the nicest color I've seen in a lake in a long time. And there's just so much to play around with here. And if you go to the next one, you can see how, yeah, it's just the blue, I didn't even add saturation to this. The blue is really, really strong. And there's all these little tiny islands and shapes that the shore makes that you can play around with. I took a nap, so I didn't shoot that much. But it's it's a really good place. I was kind of scouting, and I wasn't super inspired to take pictures that day. I was just enjoying the place, so it's definitely somewhere I'll go again. So if you go to the next, it's yeah, and you can play around. There's ton of these little islands and shapes and things that you can play around. There was a friend that was walking around, and I took a picture of her there. But it's an area that has a ton of potential. If you don't want to walk that much, that canyon is not far away, and it's beautiful, and nobody's there. Yeah, next. Okay, so before arriving to that place, there's, how to describe this? On the Iceville Parkway, before the main glacier, Athabasca Glacier, there's a little way out before the waterfowl lakes. There's just a little teeny area that you can park your car next to it, and there's a trail that comes out. It's probably 100 meters, and you reach the river. And you have a huge, an open view of House Peak, which is an amazing peak close to Waterfowl Lakes. And yeah, when it snowed, that peak is huge. And that vantage point to take those pictures is amazing, and it's just, you just park your car and walk 100 meters, and it's really, really astonishing. So that's the car one I had. And the last one, which is shorter, it's called Sunset Pass. It's also on the Iceville Parkway, and this is a marked trail that people can do. And if you move forward, it's kind of a hike. It has an uphill at the beginning, but then you arrive to this open kind of plateau, I don't know what you would call it, prairie-looking scene with the mountains at the back. That's amazing, and it's full of little creeks and things that you can play around to take pictures here. The only thing is that I'm always in the middle of the day when I'm in places like this, so the light is never amazing. But as you keep walking, if you move to the next one, you get to, see, here's, I have to edit this one, this is not edited, but there's a ton of these little ponds and whatnot, and there's a lot to play around with here. So you can spend hours here taking pictures, and it's really, really nice. And this part's not very hard to get to. Then you have to keep climbing, and you get to Sunset Pass, which arrives at a cliff, and you see an entire valley from the top, which is this. I don't know if you can see on the far right, my friends are standing there. And this is a very astonishing place. So if you want to push, you can get here, and the view is really worth the effort. But if you don't want to get here, you can play around in all the little creeks that are at the back with a lot of mountains as a backdrop. But yeah, this is also right off the Iceville Parkway, and it's a place that not many people go to, even though it's a marked hike. Yeah, and I really enjoyed going here, and I will definitely go back. So I think that is about it. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, given the time, I know John put a lot of effort into his secret assignment. Oh, Gayle did. I think we're going to push it to the next meeting because we're running out of time here. 3 or 4 minutes? You guys okay for 3 or 4 minutes? Run it? Okay. All right. That's fine. All right, Doug, hit it. Okay, any guesses? Red, white, and blue? Okay. Yeah, well done. Well put together. I agree. Yeah. I do know how much work that'll be. Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Oh. Okay. We're just going to wrap up. Do you have any last things about photo fusion? Oh, I'll get you a mic. Yeah. I think Chris just needed to turn it on.
Are we working yet? Yeah, I hear it. Okay, we have Photo Fusion. For those of you who don't know, Photo Fusion is usually 2 nights of shows, kind of like this, 6 minutes max. I've got 22 people or 22 shows in the theory signed up. This is on March 6th and 7th. They'll be, when you have them done, use WeTransfer to send them to the photo club through, I think, either contact photo, what's your email?
Contact at lethbridgephotography.com.
Or .org.
Photo club.
It's on our website,
Yeah.
anyway. And see, the thing's on the 6th, so please have them kind of like by the end of this month, because it'll take time to figure out where to put them and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody hasn't told us they want to do a show and they suddenly want to do a show, contact us and we will get you on the program. And it's open to the public. Usually it's pretty full here, if everything works out. It's Monday and Tuesday, March 6th and 7th, and it's shows to music, all kinds of themes, so it should be a good time.
And a strict 6-minute limit.
Yeah, 6 minutes, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see questions.
Can I ask if, who else in the club has done shows before on a Mac? And what program do you use?
Okay, so Wayne and, look like Wayne.
I use iMovie and Photopia.
Yeah, I've used iMovie, but I'm having trouble with it. And what's the other one?
Photopia, it's what Pro Show Gold was. It's now by Photopia, but it's on subscription only. So, yeah, it's like $14 a month. It's really annoying. But Wayne is about to say something.
It's walking towards you.
Yeah, the nice thing, although it is a subscription, I think it's $9 a month, but maybe that's American. But you can pause your subscription. And I first signed on to Photopia last year for Photo Fusion, and I bought it for a month, and it's been sitting there, and I just renewed it just last week. So for as often as you can use it off and on, you can use it for a week, and then it'll have some time left, and then you pick it up again. And it works much like, it's, as you said, just an offshoot from Pro Show.
What?
Well, I keep on, I just don't know how to do it probably. I need someone to help me. For instance, I've changed a couple of his photos to black and white. But then when I go to put them in the slideshow, it just reverts it to the original color photo. It won't keep it black and white. So I don't understand.
Okay. So maybe someone can maybe just talk briefly with them.
Anybody, if anybody has any ideas, let her know.
Okay.
So,
Do you have enough shows?
Oh, we can always use more shows. I think I have 22 total. I have you down for 2 already, by the way. Yeah. Guess he doesn't know. Does anybody want to know who's on? Okay, I've got George, Branny, John K, John A, Sigrid's for 2. I'm doing 2. I guess I have to make them now. Byron's supposed to be doing 2. Wayne's doing 2. Did you know that, Wayne? Denise is doing 2. And Laura Lee's also doing a club one on silhouette. So if you have silhouette images for Lauralee, please send them to her. Gord's got 2, Donna 1 or 2, and Chris Oates is doing 1. Anybody I missed? Volunteers? Oh, you're into 2. Well done. Do I hear 3? Okay. So it's shaping up, and usually we don't overlap shows generally between nights other than club compilations, but depending on how many we got, or if we got some absolutely standout ones, might play them on both nights, but whatever. And the theme is wide open, whatever you want to do. Okay. Oh. Not so much. I could easily generate one. Send me got some good pictures? Send me a couple to put it on poster. We'll do that. Okay. You had a question? Okay.
Okay.
Right here.
So, thanks, Ralph. Okay, so just to wrap up, next month's meeting in March, the theme is Fleeting Moment. We are looking for a Been There segment, if anyone has been there. And Annette is going to be giving an Ed segment. And yeah, and then that's it for tonight. We are going to thank, of course, Annette and Gayle for refreshments tonight. And we are adjourned. Thank you.